There are many names in the gaming industry nowadays. Most of them will be forgotten, either next month or next year, and some will never be spoken aloud. And then there are also names that will be remembered forever, to be whispered in awe. A few of these names may be Richard Garriott, Roberta Williams, Sid Meier, or also Leroy Jenkins. But one name is definitely on that list: Lowe. Lowe created adventure classics like Leisure Suit Larry and Freddy Farkas, worked as a programmer on other gaming pearls, legendary titles like Police Quest and King's Quest, and also played the sax with the David Hasselhoff Big Band. He taught children how to read musical notes and runs a website on which he shares his wisdom about computer games, information technology, and jokes. Mostly jokes, actually. He also agreed to an interview with Top Hats and Champagne. This is the interview.
I think that's why Flappy Bird was so successful.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's an old adage here in this country that says you get out of something what you put into it. And I think there's a lot to that. If you solve a puzzle in 5 seconds, it's not very
Rewarding?
Rewarding, yeah. Yes. It doesn't give you the same feeling as when you sit there and you try every damn thing you can, and it's like, what do I do? And then finally, when you get it, you go, I see, of course, why was I? And then you feel good. You feel good that you found it and you saw. And so, to have those puzzles, I think that's one reason that Candy Crush has become so successful, because it has a weird, what I think is a flaw, but I'm not sure now. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it's a brilliant game design, which is that you'll have several levels on that game that are simple to solve, and you blow right through them, and then you get to one that you're stuck on for weeks. And I thought, well, that's a flaw in the game design. It should be progressive. You should be able to make progress every day or two, so I don't know. Maybe that's a flaw, but maybe it's not. Maybe it by giving you a few easy ones, they've set you up for a hard one. I don't know the game designers, but I'll tell you what, the damn game has sure sold, hasn't it?
Yes, it did. Yeah. But yeah, there are a few games that are actually coming back to its roots, or the adventure game roots, like the Telltale games right now. I think The Wolf Among Us is their title right now, and before that, The Walking Dead. I think they're doing brilliant stuff. What do you think of Telltale then?
I think they're great. I think I hope that people are supporting the episodic content. I mean, I think that's a wonderful way to keep the field alive. But we would be remiss if we did not mention that Jane Jensen shipped a new game yesterday. And actually you can. I've got a 20% off coupon I don't have it on my site yet. But anyway, you can find a 20% off thing on it. But it's called Moibus, and it's I haven't played it yet. I just downloaded it last night, but I'm looking forward to it. It's a game in the old Sierra style, although with much better graphics and animation and stuff. But I'm sure, knowing Jane, that it'll be well written and difficult.
Right. She kickstarted that as well, didn't she? Or is that another game?
She did. Yeah. No, she did a Kickstarter for that. Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Would you do another Kickstarter again then? Because it seems to work so well for exactly these genres that are not very modern anymore.
Yeah, it worked well for us. I'm not sure that it will continue to work well. I think it was 2 years ago. It was a novelty, and there have been so many games now that have jumped on the bandwagon that difficult to get traction these days. I don't know if a second Larry. Our goal was to make enough money on the sales of the first game to pay for development of the second game, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
I just see Larry 4 is still up there, you know.
And will
remain. To be found eventually,
and will remain that way. Well, that's too good a joke to spoil.
Yes.
I don't want to put
I know. Just thought I'd throw an idea out there because I think people would pay for that. And what do you think about where the industry is headed, very generally speaking now, the gaming industry? Is it coming back to a point where we will value stories again, where we will go away from this graphic shit, sorry for the word, that is going on right now? Or will it be even more superficial in the future?
Well, all I can say is that for the history of mankind, people have told stories. I mean, you know, there were guys sitting around campfires outside of caves, and somebody was a good storyteller and ended up telling stories and you know, keeping the others' interest up. And I think it's been that way ever since. And it's I thought in the 80s that we were going to develop better and better tools to do that. And in fact, I remember the very first time the Software Publishers Association had a Oscar night. I can't remember. They didn't call it the floppy. I can't remember what they called it, but I have one over there someplace for. But anyway, the award night, and we actually had Robin Williams appear. I mean, it was pretty damn exciting. But at that meeting, Ken Williams was the president of the association at that time, and he said, you know, I think that this is the first night of many of these awards to come in the future, and that at some point the Academy Awards will be seen as merely the non-interactive video awards, and the rest of the real awards will be for interactivity, because once you've played interactive stories, you won't be content with sitting back and being passive and watching stories, which I thought was a brilliant statement 25 years ago. And for 5 or 10 years after that, I thought was coming true. But then we kind of got off onto 3D graphics and more 3D graphics and then even more 3D graphics and kind of lost our way. And games now that are purported to be great stories are really kind of just a little story tacked on to a whole lot of
it's definitely an afterthought,
repetitive gameplay. And part of that, I mean, I can understand the publishers are investing millions of dollars. You know, you don't want to take too many chances when the risks are that large, and therefore you end up with very conservative repetitive games. And back when, I think, you know, I'm trying to remember when I did Larry 1, Ken could take a chance on it because it cost 3 months of my time and a month of Mark Crow's time and a few dollars, maybe a few hours of time from people designing the box and you know, copying the discs and so forth. But basically he published that game for free. So he could take a big risk with a game that was weird like that. And you know, and when it went out, it was the worst selling game in the history of the company, and so it looked like he was stupid. You know, it looked like he had made a big mistake, even though it cost him almost nothing. Now, he paid us dearly in royalties over the long term, but his original costs were just almost nothing. Well, compare that with somebody who says, yeah, I want to do this game, and it's going to be $50 million to produce all these gigabytes of graphics and animation. You would tend to be more conservative. So I can't fault the publishers for being conservative with their money and being conservative with games. But on the other hand, it's not nearly as much fun as it was finding new products and stuff. I mean, that's one of the reasons that I was so glad to see the mobile apps come along, because I think that's been a breath of fresh individuality and creativity in the field that was sorely needed.
I'm actually surprised that you say that. I would have thought that you would be ranting against mobile games, actually, to be honest. I don't know why. I thought...
Hey, remember, when we started off doing mobile games, we just had to do them on a computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, those games were tiny. They were, they were individual. They were low resolution and all those things, all the characteristics that are there. And yet, you still remember the gameplay.
Yes.
So that's why I don't think it's the screen size that matters. Hey. Yeah, it's like.
But then I must say, when I hear mobile games, I often think of these click fests like Farmville or these other things where you basically you click once a day or twice a day, and then you pay $3 to play another day. Maybe that's a misconception of mine, but that's what I connect to mobile games.
I wouldn't say that. I never understood those games. Yeah. And more so, I never understood the fact that the company went public, and why did I not short that stock when it went public? Because it was just obvious to me that couldn't be maintained.
Yes.
And and I kind of feel the same way. I should probably go short King, just because I just can't see how they're going to continue at the level that they're talking about. But my understanding is that they're making a million a day. I think.
I don't know.
Yeah. And I know. So that.
I mean, but probably they lure people in, then they pay them for a couple of months until the people realize that's actually crap. What am I doing here? And then these people are lost forever. So they need a steady influx of new gamers, I think, to keep up with this.
I don't know. I think from what I've read, the surveys I've read have been that there's a bell-shaped curve, like there is in everything else. That the few people over here that pay zero, like me, I think once I was within one thing of solving. I gave them 99 cents just because I thought, I haven't given them any money. I should support something. I fell victim a little, so I'm way on that end over there. And then over here, I understand there are people who are in for hundreds of dollars a month, that they have a bill like their rent, or their, maybe not their rent, but at least their utility bills every month to those people. So God bless them if they can make a game that's addictive and get people to voluntarily send them money. That's what it's all about.
Yes, the voluntarily part is what I'm confused about. But who am I?
Well, no, the alternative is you shut it off and delete it from your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's simple. You don't have to play.
Yes. As I'm just confused about why people really do this, but like I said, who am I to judge? Everybody should be happy.
And who would have, if somebody had pitched me with the idea of Bejeweled, what was it, 15 years ago, 10 years, how long ever Bejeweled's been out, maybe at least 10 years, probably more. And they had pitched me the idea, okay, well, you move these little colored gems around on the screen, and if you can get 3 in a row, something happens. If you get 4 in a row, something better happens. If you get 5 in a row, it's like, anybody could do that. That's not a very original idea, but damn, that company did quite well, and then all the rip-offs that have come of it, I guess a lot of them are making money, and then Candy Crush, hit it out of the park.
Definitely.
So